It goes all the way back to ancient Greece and the Roman Empire. Some see it as vandalism, others consider it a form of art. Local gangs use it to mark their territory, and it has also been used to make a political point. One need only think of Northern Ireland. But is graffiti now being used to bring about some sort of spiritual revolution? Many believe so. And in tonight's special report, I'll be investigating why specific terms and symbols have suddenly gone global. There is no sky. Nobody knows where it first appeared, or who was responsible, or even what it means. But this mysterious phrase has now appeared in at least 54 countries from Russia to Panama. And it's not only public buildings and walls which have been affected. Various communication systems have also been hijacked recently and used to illegally broadcast cryptic messages. One of the culprits I spoke to referred to it as digital graffiti. Whilst many people are dismissing it as a childish prank, others claim that it represents the start of the final battle in an ongoing spiritual war. A war which could lead us into Armageddon and the end of the world. So I'm here in Michigan, where some of the first graffiti was reported. Whilst much of it has been removed, of course, a few less conspicuous examples remain. Excuse me, sir. Do you have an opinion on the graffiti behind you? Do you know what it means? Who do you think is responsible for it? As you can see, not many people have been willing to speak on camera. We did secure an interview earlier, however, after agreeing to provide anonymity. So I am here with John, who wants to share some information pertaining to the global graffiti phenomenon. We have disguised his voice in order to protect his anonymity.
Firstly, I want to say that I'm glad to see the mainstream media finally reporting on this stuff. There's been a news blackout since this whole thing began. Which is a shame, because what's taking place right now are the most momentous events in human history.
In what sense are they momentous?
In the sense that human beings are emerging from their collective amnesia and realizing that they've been monumentally hoodwinked.
So we have all forgotten something? And what might that be?
We have forgotten who we are and where we are. That's what graffiti is about. Certain phrases and symbols act as keys, opening gates and doorways that were previously blocked.
You also mentioned the fact that we've been duped in some way. Can you explain that?
We have been duped on so many levels, it's impossible to explain it in simple terms. Essentially, however, conscious beings have been suckered into a software program. Our leaders are not real, and neither are the majority of people on this planet. They are like extras in a movie. Laws and statutes are part of the program, but they do not apply to conscious beings, only the extras. The software people.
If what you say is true, how is it possible to tell the difference between a conscious person and a software extra?
Consciousness will generally identify with the software of the vessel it occupies, which some call the ego. This makes it virtually impossible to tell the difference. Software can also mimic consciousness, making the task even harder. That's what all this surveillance and biometrics is about. The software that runs this planet is trying to find a way of detecting consciousness. And when it does, Armageddon will surely follow, which is necessary. This is the war between so-called good and evil. Consciousness and unconsciousness.
And you can see the full, hour-long interview with John on our website. When I asked him how he knew what he knew, he kindly put me in touch with his contact in England. And, after a few emails and telephone conversations, she invited me to visit her in London.
So I am standing here looking out of this vessel at all of you. But I also know that I am looking at this vessel, through all of you. This is oneness. And there is nothing above us except higher levels of our oneself, which is infinite consciousness. Anyone can believe that. But only when you know it without doubt, can you claim to have truly awoken. Then you align yourself with the truth, with love. Then you finally stand up in this system and say no. Not no to some of it, but no to all of it. How can you claim to be against the system on one hand, whilst with your other hand you are jerking the system off? Ignorance is no longer an excuse. You may think the little things do not matter, but the system is built upon little things. Without them it will all come crashing down. As it says in the scriptures, those who wish to be a friend of this world are constituting themselves an enemy of God. And if you remain an enemy of God, you are divided against your own self. You are lost in the program, in your own conditioning. You are unconscious. By fighting the system we are only giving it strength. Instead, we can simply make the system irrelevant by not cooperating with it. And this may soon necessitate the creation of our own communities, which will serve as examples to the world. This is the stand. And we stand together, as one.
So I am here with Anya, who has agreed to speak with us on camera. First of all, thank you for inviting me. I get the sense that this is a rather exclusive club.
It is actually a secret location that we use for various purposes. Tonight was an open mic session.
It seems that your speech was well received.
Thank you. Yes, I think so. But my English is not so good, so I hope that it made sense to everyone.
Tell me, Anya, how did you get involved with this movement? Would you even characterize it as a movement?
It is simply an awakening of consciousness. And those who have awoken feel naturally drawn to others who are also awake.
You make it sound very innocent, I must say. But if it's so innocent, why the need for secret locations and even illegal activities? Do you acknowledge that your group is directly responsible for inspiring graffiti on a worldwide scale?
There is a need for caution, because we are involved in a war. And whilst the outcome may be inevitable, in favor of God, it is quite fun to participate in the drama of the game.
And is it also fun to take part in illegal activities?
I do not recognize any authority over me, just as I do not recognize any national flags or borders. I am sovereign. Just as it says in the scriptures, the wisdom of this world is foolishness with God.
So you are saying that laws are foolish?
I am saying that I subscribe to a higher law, one which permits the use of words and symbols to awaken those who are ready to awaken.
And what about those who cannot awaken because they're not actually real? It seems that despite your promotion of oneness, you do in fact see two distinct types of human beings who should be separated.
When you are conscious, it is easy to see unconsciousness. Sometimes it is because the consciousness in that person is asleep. Sometimes it is because consciousness never resided there in the first place. In any case, what part does light have with darkness? If there is light, there is no darkness. Ask yourself why Jesus used the expression "let the dead bury their dead." That would be no way to speak of conscious human beings. No, he saw in terms of chaff and wheat, just as I do. Conscious and unconscious people. Real and unreal. Alive and dead. So I guess I am famous now. Ha ha.